All right, Peter Ducey, thank you so much. Let's bring in special report and chief political anchor, Bret Baier. Bret, great to see you. Congrats on that awesome appearance on the 5 yesterday. We loved having you. And now today we get to talk about a little bit of 2020 news before we talk about President Trump and all that is happening there with coronavirus. It's interesting, I think, to look at President Obama coming out with this endorsement. And one of the things that Peter just pointed out that he said is he said that the other party is doesn't want progress. But yet when you look at Joe Biden and Barack Obama, it really is talking about the past and a return to the past, not looking forward to the future in some ways. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. First of all, I don't think it's a surprise that he waited this long. The Obama people said that he wanted to wait till the primary had kind of gone along. He could have done it a little bit earlier, but decided that Bernie Sanders should go first. I think more important than this Obama endorsement was the Sanders endorsement yesterday, that I understand from reporting that President Obama had some hand in some phone calls with Bernie Sanders, and who knows what the horse trading is behind the scenes. But the key part for Biden is to get the Sanders folks and the progressives to buy on. Not all of them are, but the Sanders endorsement would, you would think, be much more unifying perhaps than the Obama endorsement. You're right about the progress. You know, they're talking, and Joe Biden campaigned on going back to the Obama-Biden times. And that's really the pitch that he made in tying himself so closely to President Obama.
The other thing that President Obama talked about is, he said, Vice President Biden, he said, he helped me handle Ebola. That Ebola outbreak happened during their administration. But now they're in this really strange situation. They're not able to have campaign events, big rallies, get together. It is such uncharted territory. And then you have the president with all the wonderful trappings of incumbency every day in front of the nation, 2 hours a day, sometimes more, trying to lead the nation through a crisis. It's really hard to imagine how they figure this out.
I mean, look, yesterday, because of that marathon briefing that obviously raised a lot of eyebrows and got a lot of coverage, you did not hear about Bernie Sanders' endorsement that much on that streaming endorsement. You didn't hear about Democrats having kind of a big win as far as voters getting out in Wisconsin that much. And so Donald Trump, the president, takes a lot of the light and sound and oxygen out of coverage. So breaking through in this environment in the new COVID-19 era is going to be tough.
Let's move to COVID-19 and talk a little bit about that press conference last night that the president had and the back and forth between him and governors across the country about who has the authority to decide when to reopen. Take a listen to him and then Governor Cuomo earlier today.
The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. He's the President of the United States. The authority is total. And that's the way it's got to be.
The authority is total.
It's total. It's total. And the governors know that.
So I put my hand out in total partnership and cooperation with the President. If he wants a fight, he's not going to get it from me. Period. This is going to take us working together.
How do you see this shaping up across the country with the president, with his fiery statements last night and the governor's trying to pour a little cool water on it?
First of all, the Constitution is pretty clear, and constitutional scholars will say that this is not the president flicking on the switch. It's the governors and the local authorities that have that going forward. I think that there's a hypocrisy here in that, you know, one, if President Obama had said those words that you heard from President Trump, that the authority is total with the presidency, you know, conservatives' heads would have exploded across the board. Two, a week ago, there was a lot of coverage of saying, why isn't there a national stay-at-home order for the government? Why isn't there? Why don't they do this? But now it's, no, he can't open up The bottom line is that the president can really influence these governors and work with them. But as far as the top-down order by the Constitution, you can't do that. So it's working with these governors to open it up in a rolling kind of open is what I imagine would happen.
And they have worked together so far. Can I get one last quick word from you about, I won't play the sound, but yesterday when Dr. Fauci comes to the podium and he says, look, I want to be very clear, and then he's pressed several times, and one of the reporters in the front row says, are you doing this voluntarily? And he, at 79 years old, is like, obviously, I'm doing this voluntarily. You and I used to be in that room together, of course, on different sides of the podium. A quick thought about that moment.
I just think it was really telling that, listen, Fauci's under a lot of pressure on all sides. But at that moment, to come out and say, listen, it was an hypothetical. I answered it this way. It wasn't an artful answer to say it how I said it. But I'm working with this president, and he's listening to me. And then when he hears the question, are you doing this voluntarily, or essentially, do you have a gun to your head? The look that he gives and the answer that he gives, I think, spoke volumes.
Yeah, I think we've all seen that look from someone in our lives, and we know exactly what it means.
Yeah.
Bret Baier, thanks, and we'll see you on Special Report.